For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast for the 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in that games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations, please check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All our links in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can join the chat, become part of the show. It's awesome fun. Additionally, if you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you listen to us on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're on the YouTubes, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment below. And I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Max, God damn, we are in for a big episode today, man. Today is going to be huge-mongous.
Yeah, I might have gone a little bit crazy.
Oh, it's not even that, man.
But there have been a lot. There's been a lot of news. We've been playing a lot of stuff, and
yeah, so that's not even piss fart around. Let's just get right out of the way. How you been, Max?
Yeah, been good.
How's it all going? How's the life?
Yeah, it's been a fun week. This week's been pretty crazy, actually. I must admit. So.
Yeah, I'd agree. Mine's pretty similar. Nothing too major happened apart from playing a ton of games and just working and.
Yeah, pretty much. Between hanging out with the kid, working, and playing a fair few games.
Yeah.
It's been a good week.
That's enough about us. That's about the games we're playing. Max, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater since.
Me too. Let's talk about that right now. Tony Hawk's
release.
Pro Skater. Let's get into it. All right. So this week, Activision released the highly anticipated Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster. It's been out a day and a bit now, I guess, the time of recording. Now, Max, you picked it up digitally, so you got it like right on bang. I picked this up after work yesterday. I'm gonna let you run with this one. Tell me what you think.
I'm loving it, man. So, days before this released, I, pulled out the PlayStation 2 and started playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 to get myself ready. Man, this brings back such good memories from the childhood. Mm. So they've obviously made a few changes. So it's not a true just a HD remaster, because you've got all those fun things that they added into the later Tony Hawk's games can now be used in Tony Hawk's 1 and 2. So you've got your reverts, you've got your manuals, the lip tricks. It does make comboing and getting those high scores a little easier than what they used to be, but there is an option built into the game to set it to classic mode, and that makes the game way harder.
Yeah, because it's a weird sort of situation. So although it is technically a remaster, I kind of want to say it's a remake. But all the marketing, it says remaster, so that's what we're going with. But yeah, it does feel from the ground up sort of they've taken the bones of an old game and then they've made it awesome. So I'm playing on PS4, so it's running at the 4K allegedly, or 4K upscaled. Yeah, and as you said, like, it's combined what 1 and 2 brought, as well as a little bit of, like, I think the reverts maybe in 3. So they've bought a lot of those controller setups here. The game looks amazing. It plays just like I remember, except I don't remember being this shit. Because since then, I have played, obviously, Skate. I've been playing Skater XL recently as well, and because they're more like flick driven than button pressy, I feel like I'm having to like stress. There's some muscle memory I'm going to have to get back. But booting the game up, and they have an opening cinematic which is in 4:3 and it's all fuzzy and low res, with Guerrilla Radio playing over it by Rage Against the Machine. And, like, I don't know about you, man, but that nostalgia just fucking hit me around the chest. And it's like, dun, 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 and I'm like, ooh. you know, and then like as they sort of show Tony Hawk doing the 900, and then it pans out, like it kind of scales out to 1080 or 4K or whatever, and looks mint. And you know, you see all these because as a skater from way back, I'm seeing all these names that I remember, and I remember them looking very differently because I haven't skated in about 10 years. Easily 10 years. So it's cool. Like, you see like obviously I'm a big fan of like Rodney Mullen and Bob Burnquist and, Tony Hawk's like
Chad Musker.
I don't remember Musker guy, but
I noticed Bam's missing.
Yo, he didn't appear in 1 and 2. He appeared in the
he was
ones.
in 3 and Underground, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. So he wasn't prominent at the time.
True.
But yeah, it's like it's good because like Rodney Mullen I followed. Even semi-recently, I went back and watched his TED Talks. I watch them ever so often because they're all about innovation and creativity, and sometimes I need that oomph. So like with Rodney Mullen, I go back and watch his stuff frequently, and even that was like 8 years ago. Seeing it here, I'm like, man, all these guys are so old, but they can bring it. And like they're showing clips of all these awesome drinking stuff. And then we also see the new skaters in here as well.
Changing the topic a little bit, but not too much. Did you see the clip of Tony Hawk doing a 540 with a glass of milk in his hand and not spilling it?
No.
So he drops in on a vert with a full glass of milk, does a 540 off the side of it, and holds it, and then drinks the milk at the end. Not a drop spill.
What a champ!
He's still got it, apparently.
Yeah, well, he's pretty battered and bruised these days, but it's good. So. Yeah, like at its core, it feels exactly like Tony Hawk as you remember, for good, bad, whatever. It's very fascinating because you would know this by having played 3 and 4 again recently. Like it's that one hang up that we have. It's like I'm playing this game, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this looks exactly how I remember. But it's not. Not even a little bit.
It looks so much better than what.
So much better.
So much better.
Additionally, so you can create your own skater in this one, which you couldn't in 1 or 2. Have you made your custom max? Is there a custom max in there?
I've made a custom. It's not me. I made it because full disclosure, I said at the start when I first picked it up, I said to you that the plat looks easily achievable, and I'm going for that plat. Mm-hmm. And one of the challenges built into the game is to give your creator skater a facelift. So I built this random dude just so I could customize him later to get the trophies.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I made
going for that long game.
I made an equivalent of me because it does have a skate shop and stuff in it as well. So it doesn't appear to be microtransactions at the moment, but there is like in-game currency that allows you to buy new decks, pants, shoes, whatever. And you seem to get them just by playing the game, which is awesome. So my son was playing it this morning. He granted he just knows how to ollie. So he just does the warehouse level and just jumps around for a while and falls over and then does it again. So each time you do it, you get $5. So I just let him go and I made like $200.
Nice.
Of those in-game dollary dues. And additionally, like there's rewards and challenges now. So rather than just completing the actual set goals, which each level contain, you're then additional, like X amount of revert, X amount of special tricks, grind for this long, manual for this long. And like even the back end of the level, they give you statistics. Like this is what your highest combo was. This is the best run you've had. This is the best scoring trick you've had. This is the longest grind manual. So you can actually break it down on a more granular level now. So as someone that's trying to get those combos and sort of get that grind, pun intended, are these additional challenges and information helping you?
So I've kind of been doing the challenges without knowing that I'm doing the challenges. So the way I've tackled the start of this game is I try and get through as many of the level challenges in one go as possible. So while I'm collecting skate, I'm getting that pro score, high score, 6 score. And I try and do as least runs as possible. And once I've cranked that level, I don't move on until I've done everything.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. Like I won't leave that level until it's done.
So the game's been out since I got it at midnight on release. So midnight Thursday night, Friday morning. So it's been, a day and a bit, and I've 100% completed Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1.
Oh, damn. How many hours do you reckon it's taking you, though?
I think it took about 3 hours.
That's not too bad.
Because I was having trouble remembering where stuff was. So,
right now, I'm trying to remember where the bells are at the high school.
Oh, dude, that took me ages.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. It's gone.
And then I eventually remembered where the last one was. But it did take a while.
But I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I'm only like 3 levels deep on the first one so far because my son hijacked it, and but I say he hijacked it, but this is something I want to mention, and I shared a video on Twitter today of him playing it on my lap. It's interesting now that I am older. Now that I am a parent, I am starting to see the benefits of remakes and remasters. Like, I remember always claiming, like, why would they just make me again? It's like, well, this skateboarding games no longer exist. They don't happen anymore. Apart from the one major indie that comes out as like Skater XL. Here you go. But it's been a very, very long time, and it's such a pivotal part of PlayStation. It's such a pivotal part of gaming and myself personally. So being able to sit here with my son and show him a game that I grew up with, but in a light that he will understand. So even in a couple of years from now, when he's a little bit older, I'll still have access to this title, which I could play at any point. Like, I can't pull up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 anymore. I can't pull up Underground as easily. But here, I can share a very big part of my youth with my son. And that's awesome. I'm so happy about that. Even it's like that's the silver lining of this, man. The game is at its core is awesome, but then there is this really nice outer crust to it that fills my heart with even more warmth, and because that's the thing. Like this, at the age that we are now, like we're at that tipping point where we're nostalgic for our youth. There are things that we remember, and almost majority of people that are our age now have kids, and they want to pass that on. And they're smart business, man. They're like, well, let's give them what they loved, and they can pass it on. That's how you get like ingrained brands on kids. As scary as it is, you know what I mean? Like, so in time, there'll be a couple of years. I said a couple of years. When my kid's older, he'll look back, man. I remember playing Tony Hawk with your dad. We would sit there and do that, like. So that's like 2 generations of awesome memories. And yeah, we couldn't do that if it wasn't for remakes and remasters. So yeah, I'm very happy to be playing it again. It feels good. It feels very nice. What else have you been playing,
mate? Yeah, the other game, going back to old school games, the other game I've been playing this week is Simpsons Hit and Run.
Oh yeah, shit. Now that's a game I'd love to share with my kid, but I can't.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot of old stuff this week. Apart from obviously Tony Hawk's when it came out. I dabbled in my everyday games, played a bit of League of Legends, played some Valorant. Other than that, not too much, man. What about you?
I've probably done a little bit more this week. So so thank you to the team over at Square Enix Australia. Both you and I were provided with codes for Marvel's The Avengers.
Yes, I've been playing the Avengers.
Yeah, so we were given.
I have actually. Yeah,
we were both provided the deluxe edition, which allowed us to start playing from Wednesday. Now, sadly, I've been pretty reasonably busy, so I was able to play it on Thursday. So, our initial thoughts can be heard across the beta. So, in terms of how the game plays and runs, it's pretty much identical, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I felt that it felt a little crisper than what it did in the beta. There were times where it felt a little bit sluggish, and I put that down to they are stress testing stuff. They're making sure all their services are going to be ready. I felt it. I felt that it was a bit smoother once I had the actual game in my hands.
Yeah, like
So I've played back up to the point where we got to the beta, because obviously there's a bit prequel to the Golden Gate Bridge demo that you play in the beta. which gave a little bit more backstory, which was awesome.
Yeah, I want to touch upon that actually. So, into the first, say, 3-4 hours are exactly what the beta had to offer. So you do the A-Day at the Golden Gate Bridge scenario. You do the run with Kamala Khan and the Hulk, and then you start segmenting off into more additional things, right? So already I'm not, like I said, I'm not noticing a difference. I said it is mostly the same. However, there is more setup, as you mentioned, as you alluded to, with the A-Day scenario. So you get to see, you're seeing it through Kamala Khan's eyes, because she is the main focal point. She is our way in to this world. So we're seeing everything through hers. So this is all stuff that everyone sort of knows about. She wins a competition for writing an Avengers related story. She gets then invited to go join on the A-Day celebrations, and potentially meet the Avengers. So we get to see the Avengers in their glory on their celebration day through her eyes. And compared to the demo, well, because this, once again, the A-Day demo is, I played at PAX last year, and I played X amount of weeks ago, and I played it here now. This time completely reworked it for me. Seeing it through her eyes, seeing the awe, the wonder, the mighty of these characters gave this level of humanity that you didn't get in that pre-setup, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's a small little run around you do as Kamala. You go and collect some comic books, and you see all this memorabilia, and she gets all excited, and then you run into Thor, and then you run into Cap and Black Widow, and they know who she is because they read her story. And I don't know about you, I was feeling warm and excited just because when they're like, oh yeah, you wrote the book about that, and then Black Widow's like, oh man, I loved it how you made me do that with the great, that was awesome, did it? And like, because I was fanning out a little bit. Like, it wasn't even me or my story. It just gave me that right vibe. Yeah, so there is that like big single player campaign as well. It's not big, but there is a single player campaign, which is a very interesting surprise because it has not been marketed that way at all. Now, granted, the single player campaign, you can, that's with you can join up with people to hit the raids and stuff, whatever. But when playing the beta, my brain was in a very different place. Like when we're doing all those encounters, and I'm like, this doesn't sound like a cohesive story, because it wasn't. They were the multiplayer specific areas where you can go and run and get loot and stuff. Those sections weren't about furthering the story. How are your thoughts on it?
So I'm not quite as far. So I've gotten to the part where you're doing the run with Kamala Khan and Hulk. Mm-hmm. My thoughts on the characters that I've played have not changed. Hulk is still like the GOAT for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it just felt a lot smoother. It seems less rough around the edges than what it may have looked like in the beta, and especially those early videos that we saw of the game. I think it's nice that they did separate that single player multiplayer section. Like when you boot up the game, there are two separate options in your main screen, so you can jump straight into that multiplayer area, go do your grinding, or you can reach the story. So far, the story, especially that early bit that introduces the players to Kamala and how it humanizes the Avengers, and that they know these people, that they take the time to meet up with her, and I think that was a really good onboarding point. Much like you said, it gave a different perspective to the events of A-Day in the game. Mm-hmm. Because obviously in the beta, you're dropped in right in the middle of the action. You don't understand why it's come about, and then all of a sudden you're playing as Kamala Khan with Hulk, and you're like, hang on a minute, who is this person?
Yeah, how did she come across Hulk? Blah, blah, blah.
There's a nice big chunk of story that you're missing between that A-Day celebration day and you meeting up with Hulk.
Well, yeah, something as simple as when you sort of see Kamala where she lives, and you see her you see her father, and you see her room is scattered with Avengers stuff, and she's trying to understand what's happened after the events of A-Day. She has this own little like secret hideout where she has all her Avengers memorabilia. And there's some mint statues in there, by the way, and holy shit, do I want them statues. Yeah, and it added a whole different framework to it. And I think that's the big takeaway here. Although because we received this game the same time as everybody else, we aren't as far in it as we would have hoped. I thought there may be a little bit, maybe a couple of days longer, but it looks as if that everyone, so including we're very lucky for once we finally got it at the same time as all the big guys, because everyone got it right at the deluxe edition. Yeah, so
I guess that's the pro and con to being an online service game.
Yeah,
the service isn't running, so there's no copies to go. So
yeah, true. Well, once they activate the servers, they have to activate them for everyone, I suppose. So it kind of makes it a bit tough. But look, I will be spending some more time with it because I want to see it through. I at least want to see the single player through. Whether I get stuck into the grind.
I am looking forward to playing some multiplayer. I'll have to hit you guys up and get a group going.
Well, yeah. So we certainly should. I might play tonight or tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow night, but I might do it tonight if you're interested. Sort of start chipping away at it a little bit, so you can get a bigger scope for the game. But with it being an ongoing service like this game plans to be, I guarantee you'll be hearing updates from us for the next X amount of time. As Spider-Man comes in, as Hawkeye comes in, as other additional characters start making their
I think they had a they announced another character a couple of days ago.
It's essentially the female equivalent of Hawkeye. So they're starting to hit up those variants, all of the same character, basic character type. Kate Bishop, thank you, Reverend Park, in the chat there for keeping us honest. So and Black Panther has also been promised as well, which is a nice touch because
I think they delayed their reveal in because of everything that's going on.
Yeah. So for those that may not know, Chadwick Boseman, the gentleman who did play Black Panther as well as many other pieces of work, he did pass away last week to colon cancer, which is horrifying and very, very sad. Of course, our condolences, our sadnesses go to the family and anyone that's worked with him. He seemed like Black Panther. We're gonna get derailed for a second here, but Black Panther as a film, it didn't hit me that hard. I didn't think it was brilliant. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was brilliant. But I think that's because the movie wasn't made for me. I'm a white guy. There are movies about us all the time. There may not
like every other movie.
Like every other movie. Like granted, we as specific individuals, large dudes, glasses, we're always side characters, but we're characters in movies. We're here. There's an entire a subsect of the world that have finally got their movie, and that power cannot be understated. So I completely understand and agree with everyone's sort of sentiment and sorrow right now, because he did usher in something huge and substantial, especially in the superhero genre, and it's awesome. Cass in the chat asks, "Is there a spot for me if I get it?" Why the hell not? Would you want to play with Cass? What are you reckon?
Can't be worse than the AI.
That's true. That is very, very possible. And Sarah's joined us as well. She says, "Looking great, Ryan. Thank you very much."
It depends on if he's actually going to be able to play. So I've been trying to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater with Cass.
Oh, yeah?
And despite the fact that he can play online multiplayer games, the game itself won't let him connect to its online services. So I can't invite him to join a session that I'm in.
Why?
And he can't invite... It just doesn't connect him. But if he clicks multiplayer quick play, it'll work. It'll throw him in some rando's lobby, but he can't make a party and join a private game. It's very frustrating.
It's a bit weird.
I just want to beat him at Tony Hawk's.
Well, there's probably a reason. I can't get in. I'm so sorry. It's not working, man. I can't. He just doesn't want to get his ass beat. That's what it is.
Well, see, that was my theory.
Yeah. But yes, as I said, we'll have more to talk about Avengers in the coming weeks as we head more into it, because both Max and I plan on giving it a good old run, because Marvel and the Avengers characters is cool, and I want to see what it has to offer, because my expectations are pretty high, and it's my last pick in our fantasy draft, Max. Our gaming draft. So
I don't think any of the rest of the games on my list are coming out
No,
this year.
we're done. So, like, both you and I lost a game this game. So you lost Vampire the Masquerade.
I still might lose Cyberpunk at this point.
I lost Little Nightmares. So, if anything, the result of this... So, if anything, the result of the reviews of Avengers will finalize my score. That means then we have for you to be the decider.
I've got Cyberpunk.
Once you have Cyberpunk
and Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh shit! And Watch Dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
So November, September. So October,
I'm
and November is pretty important to you.
Something goes horrible. Yeah, hopefully they both come out. Hopefully they don't get delayed again.
I think Cyberpunk's more of a concern, to be honest, but we'll see how we go. Additionally, I did also pull off the PSVR head, put it on. Did some PlayStation VR today, which I've done in a little while. I was playing Star Wars Vader Immortal on the PSVR, so that code was kindly provided to us by PlayStation Australia. So, Max, this is something that you've had your eye, and you're the one that brought it to my attention.
So I have it installed and ready to go. I just have not had the time to go face on with it, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, Star Wars in VR, that's the IP for it, isn't it?
Oh my god, dude. Oh, so there are 3 episodes, and by the looks of it, they're about, well, the first one was around an hour and a half. So I have finished that one. I haven't touched 2 or 3 yet. That is perfect little bite-sized chunks, I was going to say, in terms of VR. But at its core, you are playing this character. You are flying through the space with your robot companion, and then you are randomly pulled up by a Star Destroyer, and then you're taken to Mustafar, and then the rest ensues. Man, like, once I booted that shit up, I was... like you're standing in the cockpit, and you look out at the void of space, which normally makes me scared, but it didn't here. It actually made me really, really happy. I looked out. I'm looking at a cockpit. There's a robot there talking to me, and I'm pressing buttons. I'm flicking switches to get hype, and then we go in a hyperspace with that cool that thing that Star Wars does, and I get all my heart. Like, I was giddy. But not even like the regular fucking PlayStation VR giddy that I get when I just want to vomit. This is like real, genuine, like childlike glee. Like, so the Star Destroyer tractor beams you into it. Oh, sorry. When you get pulled out of hyperspace, you land above Mustafar, which is, I presume everyone Star Wars fan knows, is the planet that old Anakin Skywalker gets fucked right up on at the end of episode 3, and then you get tractor beamed into. So you get pulled through the atmosphere. So it's awesome. It's all cool little hidden loading screen, and it's this awesome structure in the middle of his volcano sort of setup, and it's like whoa. And as you get tracted in, you get pulled down. So that looks all cool because I'm all kind of like, because I'm in a fucking space stocking hangar bay in the Star Wars. And the lane lands, and then the stormtroopers like break into your ship, and that was so cool. Like, quickly, you have to like delete all your navigation stuff. So you have to run over the thing and so you're just pressing buttons like deleting shit.
Yeah,
and like the door blows out, smoke fills it. In come stormtroopers, guns ready through this whole, and like I should be scared. I was mildly intimidated, but I was like, hey, stormtroopers.
Yeah.
It was so awesome, man. And then later on, you meet Vader. Vader gets involved, obviously, as the name suggests. And he's tall and he's menacing, and like he looks cool. So it looks as if with this originally being an Oculus title, they've brought it over to PlayStation. There has been a substantial decrease comparatively, like because obviously the big high-end PCs can run VR a lot better. So it looks as if they have sort of reduced background fidelity. So when you fly into Mustafar, like I'm all excited because it looks like Mustafar, but it's a very low poly Mustafar. But when you get up in anyone's face, Vader looks so good. And then everyone else looks so... Like, a couple of the big characters look really cool. Distance, everything looks like garbage. But, like, real close. I love it. So there's
that's good. It's hard when it's obviously hard when they've built something for PC, and when they try and translate it across to PS4, obviously there are going to be things that are missing.
Yeah, and like, so there are some weird things because you're using the move controls, and they're always sketchy at best anyway. Like the hands would sometimes do weird things, like because rather than just give you a floating hand, it gives you a cuff. And I don't know why they didn't just cut it off at the wrist, because that makes more, because you're seeing this cuff, the hand's trying to compensate while keeping the cuff where it believes the cuff should be. But just make a hand, dude. Fuck off the cuffs. So if that way, if it does this, it doesn't look weird. Even me doing it kind of looks weird. Yes, eventually you get a lightsaber. The fighting system is pretty cool. The robot-y things that you fight in that first episode, they do telegraph their moves pretty heavily, which makes sense. But yeah, it feels cool, like pew pew pew. Like you start like Star Wars kidding it, and I felt really cool. Like I'm like flipping it and spinning it, and I'm like I'm nerding out something fierce. Like I hurt my shoulder, but it was worth it, Yeah, because
that's good,
and it's like it's cool because like the saber's on your belt, and you've got to hold the trigger down. It's like a grip, very similar to like the Oculus Touch, which has the buttons on the side for grip. So you grip it, you got to hold it, and and that feels so good, man. I did it in my face, nothing happened, but it's just like this young excitement in me, man. It was like, this weekend is nostalgia weekend apparently, like Tony Hawk's and Star Wars. It's just me as a teen, but like reliving it, 15, 16, 17 years later. So yeah, I'm keen to jump in the other 2 episodes. I think I might do them 1 a week. So I'll do that one this week. I'll do 2 next week, and I'll do 3 the week after. So you get 3. So you get the ongoing saga, just like Star Wars, of my playthrough of Vader Immortal. I hope you jump in it, man, because it's...
Yeah, well, I've got it installed, ready to go. I just have not had the time to plug the VR in.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And one of like, it's not really spoilers. Well, it totally is. But there's a shot of Vader, like you're in the dark, and you see the lights on Vader's little chest thinger. And he walks towards you. It's like, and it's like the glowing red light, and it looks ominous because it's just half his face. Oh, it was so fucking cool.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it was really good, actually. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's good.
Very much. I'm very excited. But that's enough for what we've been playing, so I think that's pretty much it. I didn't play anything else. Oh, Story of Seasons Daramon comes out today. I'm going to see how much that is. Might pull that up while we kick into the news. So this is a section called Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. Max, while I pull up the PlayStation Store, because I want to play some farming games, tell us what's going on.
Well, let's kick off with some Sony news, some PlayStation news. So another wave of PlayStation 5 emails have gone out. These just link back to their own PlayStation 5 page, giving us the information we already have. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah, so we still have no...
Actually,
so still no...
Before we go into that, Max, I'm just going to interrupt you because
I
want to talk farming games now.
Yeah,
what the
come on.
Is Doraemon an anime?
No, I'm pretty sure that was the localized name for Harvest Moon, wasn't it?
May have been. Because it looks very anime, but like different anime. There's like a giant cat with a hat on. I don't think they're...
I thought Doraemon was just the localized name of it. And then when they exported it to the West, it got Harvest Mooned.
Maybe.
Or am I completely wrong? Am I thinking of something else?
Doraemon is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Yep. It's anime. Okay, it is an anime. So it looks to be combining an anime with some farming games. So the anime part's going, it's crossing the line. But like I you know how often I go on like I don't like anime, I don't like that, blah, 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 but like that line is getting pushed fucking harder and harder. Like when I played Persona 5 Royal earlier this year, I'm like, and then I was talking to some of the clients at work, and they're all like, this anime is really good, this anime is really good, and there's this anime about the cells within the human body. I'm like, oh, that sounds fucking awesome. And then I saw this one about these like people dressed like firefighters, but they like fight supernatural things. Like that sounds awesome too. So like my line is very approaching. Like I'm like, oh, fucking all of it sucks. Okay, that's kind of cool. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. And bit by bit, it starts inching its way into. Next thing you know, I'm fucking Naruto running around my house. Like that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be like, what has become of me? That's what will happen. I have PS5. Sorry.
You're right. So, in other PlayStation-related news, according to The Verge, the PlayStation 5 will not have an optical audio port. which isn't too surprising considering the PS4 Slim also dropped the standard.
Yeah, I remember that being a big old deal when the Slim came out. Like, it is still currently on the Pros, and it was on the PS4 Fats. It looks as if that's done, man. It looks like that digital audio is kind of where they're going.
So the website was reporting how older Astro headsets will work on the PlayStation 5. The company will be releasing a, quote, HDMI to optical audio splitter that will allow your headset to interface with the PlayStation 5 with no additional firmware needed. They're saying that this will cost around $40 US, but if you enter your serial code from your existing Astro headset into the company's website, you will receive a $15 redo discount. So I myself have a pair of Astros that plug in via the optical, so I'm going to have to get one of these bad boys.
Well, see, that's the thing, because I primarily just use the Audio Technicas in the plug in the bottom. Like, I don't really have a dedicated gaming headset because I sit here and use these mostly anyway. I didn't want to have to buy another set. But are you bummed that this change is happening?
A little bit, but at least the company realizes that this is an issue and they're doing something to rectify it. Like, yes, it's an extra expense, but paying $25 for a converter is cheaper than buying a new headset, because I've only had this headset for a couple of years. Yeah, so I've got the A50, so I've got the wireless bad boy. So I actually have them permanently plugged into the PC and the PlayStation at the same time, because they USB into the PC, but they optical into the PlayStation. Oh. So I can have both audio running at the same time.
That's a lot of like noise in your head.
No, I mean it allows me to be in a Discord chat while playing PlayStation games.
That's a good point.
Because the PlayStation Party system is bogus lately.
It is very true.
In other PlayStation news, PlayStation have resumed their activity on Facebook and Instagram after their 2-month hiatus. Sony boycotted the platforms after adding its voice to the Stop Hate for Profit campaign, but they are now back in full force promoting their PlayStation 5 on both of its official pages on both Facebook and Instagram. Also ramping up with their marketing for the upcoming console, they have released a new 30-second advertisement, just showing us more of the same. So they're reiterating on those unique features. We're getting the same gameplay clips from Spider-Man Miles Morales and Horizon Forbidden West. There's also been some updated news on the DualSense. So one of the new features, they will be able to generate haptic feedback from sound effects. So as part of a technology-themed booklet, the platform holder explained that it aims to, quote, reduce the burden for some teams by providing simple solutions that utilize its hardware. Quote, we have created a haptic vibration waveform design environment that anyone can use easily. In this way, we have not only developed a tool that allows game creators to design an impactful, natural, and comfortable vibration waveform in fewer steps, but also created a method of almost automatically generating vibration patterns from a game's sound effects. So in theory, what this means is loud sounds such as explosions would provide a heavy feedback in the controller, while softer sounds like rippling water would be more gentle.
Because this is something that we were discussing. It's like the idea of the haptic response is on paper really, really cool. But the idea that every developer would have to plan for it is a bit fucked. So by creating this little stopgap, it's like, oh, you don't have to code for it specifically. You can if you want, but if we need to, we'll just use the audio of the game and repurpose it to get the control of what it needs to do. That's pretty interesting. But so the ad's pretty much spot on. It's like, hey, here's the adaptive triggers, here's 3D audio, here's all this shit that they've talked about. Like, no, nothing new here. Because it is currently the 5th of September, time of recording, and there would be a PS5 update. No change. Not a whole lot's gone down. It's still very, very quiet. It's still getting closer and closer, and it's getting scary. Actually, so I'm going to bring up a good point. So, friend of the show, Buddy Watson, on Twitter, he brought up a good point. He said, "Why does it matter when if you're planning on being a day one purchaser? Why does it matter when they announce the release date or the price? Because it's a situation of regardless, I've committed myself to buying it."
Because I think not everyone. So for people like us, we are committed to buying it day one. I think if it comes out at $600, we're going to be like, "Oh, that's good. That's a lot less than we thought it was." And if it comes out at $900, we're like, well, we're going to get it anyway. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
I think people just kind of want to know what they're in for.
Yeah,
because all those people, like all those people that are hedging their bets of, I'm going to get what comes out first. I can only afford one, and I'm going to get which one comes out first.
Mm. Yeah, because it brought up a good point to me, because I'm like, yeah, it's a good point, actually. Because I'm like, I'm going to buy it anyway. Why does it fucking matter? But, yeah.
I think the other thing is they're aware of how popular their console is going to be. They're aware that there could be shortages getting them to where they need to be on any given time, because currently shipping stuff is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And until they can lock down a solid date, it's all good and well to delay a game due to stuff. But when you're delaying a console that's going to cost millions, if not billions in revenue, that's a much bigger call to make. So I'm assuming they're holding off to know exactly when they're going to be able to get them in everyone's hands before they say, hey guys, it's going to be the 17th of November. And then 2 weeks later go, you know what? We're not going to be able to meet that date. It's actually going to be December now. Like, as gamers, we're upset now that we don't know. But as gamers, we would be livid if they delayed them after they gave us a date.
That is very, very true, actually. Yeah, I would probably eat them alive. Yeah, I'd be pretty mad. I understand that. It's just, yeah, it's starting to come. But we start repeating on the rant that we did last week, so we'll back off on that, and we'll head into the next bit of news, which is about Ubisoft. So Ubisoft has officially announced the upcoming Ubisoft Forward event. This was heavily rumored to drop in September, but they have got a date and time. It will take place on Friday, the 10th of September in the US. So that's the 11th for us. An announcement trailer for it states it will contain, quote, new games and big news. In additional Ubisoft news, they're still a pretty horrible company. Also on top of that, Gods and Monsters has received their rebrand. It is now known as Immortals, Phoenix, Fenyx Rising.
So I actually don't think there's a colon.
That's worse.
I actually don't think there's a colon there.
See, if Gods and Monsters is kind of a generic-y name, but somehow by renaming it Immortals Phoenix Rising somehow makes it sound worse and more generic.
I think because this is from the team that did Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if I remember rightly. Lately, the Assassin's Creed games have gone very mythological, and you're fighting gods and monsters. So I think they're trying to distance themselves from the Assassin's Creed franchise and be like, no, this is something.
But they are, because it's not Assassin's Creed. Like I see where you're coming from. But if it was called Assassin's Creed Immortals Phoenix Rising, there's a problem. But it's not. It's just called Gods and Monsters. If it was called the Creed of Gods and Monsters, yeah, that would be confusing. But like that, it's a poo name. It sounds like a mobile game now.
Yeah.
And that's look, I didn't really give two poos about it. You watched the trailer, you got a kick out of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually kind of like how it's looking now. It's had a bit of a facelift since the initial release. Yeah,
Yeah, like a phone game. Cool. I'm glad they know their market. That's nice. This will be featured heavily in the next Forward event. And thanks to Microsoft Store, and there may be a possible release date. Leaked on the according to the Microsoft Store, it's possibly could be coming out on the 2nd of December, which is a Wednesday, so it may be possible. But in the digital age, games can drop whatever the fuck they want. Alongside this release that on the store, there were a series of new screenshots. I'm not a big fan of okay, whatever, that's fine. And I think there'll be seven unique regions to its open world, each inspired by a different god. I presume they're new gods. They're not being based on any current god-like imagery. Another game currently being teased around this Ubisoft Forward event is Prince of Persia. This is on the back of the early gameplay release thing that was like for an old test build apparently. And then additionally, this teaser was also assisted by Jason Schreier, who had name dropped the project directly on the Triple Click podcast. That and like Prince of Persia and Splinter Cell are like the two most favorite sentences to come out of any Ubisoft anything. Like every time it's like, "Hey, Ubisoft having an event," I bet Splinter Cell's going to be there. Fucking Prince of Persia better be there. Nah, here's a mobile game for and another character for Siege. Oh, is it Prince of Persia? Are you excited for a returning Prince of Persia, Max? Is the question.
Yeah, man. Prince of Persia's rad. I don't understand why they let that franchise die.
I love the original Prince of Persia, like the OG,
like the 2D side
the
scroller.
OG DOS one. I remember playing that shit with my dad. Like he and I smashed the fuck out of that game. I never really got very far because I distinctly remember playing it for the first time, and because the way it worked is you would go. You would either go left or right. Like if you went left, you would go and get a sword and you'd be fine. If you went right, because you have to go left to get the sword and then come back. But if you just go right, there's a guy that's like. I remember being like, "How do I fight this man?" that's young Ryan apparently. "Dad, how do I do it? I don't know what I'm doing." And then he's like, "No, you've got to run that way." So you have to go there, get it, and come back. And I still remember that, like the da-da-da-da-da. So that's Mario noise, be on point. When you pick up the sword, it's awesome. And then, of course, this like the Sands of Time series on the PS2. Big old fan of that bad boy. Sands of Time was cool. I remember borrowing Warrior Within and the Two Princes off my friend Sprouty. I remember playing that back in the day. I really loved Sands of Time. And then they tried to make that, like, then there's that other one, like one with the epilogue that had to be purchased separately. That part I don't really have an issue with, but I guess they kind of do. But I never played it, so I didn't care. But like that seemed to be like a stylistically different as well, and I think that may have been the on it. Yeah. Do you reckon this will be a new one, or are they going to redo Sands of Time? Like, or
man, if they just redo that trilogy, I'll be happy.
Park brings up an interesting point. They didn't let it die; it became Assassin's Creed. Then they just ran that money train.
Did it though? Because Assassin's Creed got yearly releases.
Yeah, but like there's a lot. of Prince of Persia DNA.
You mean Assassin's Creed took over because of
There's a lot of Prince of Persia DNA and then Assassin's Creed.
True.
And then Chris Conway backs up Prince of Persia on the Commodore 64 was my shit. 64, hot damn, like poor Commodore. Oh yeah, and of course there was the movie as well, which
with
was very
Jake
good.
Gyllenhaal.
Oh yeah, wait.
I'm pretty sure it was Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm thinking of this. Yeah, that was very good. I'm thinking of this. I'm like, that's fucking Fassbender. But no, that was Assassin's Creed.
Well, let's talk about some news that I'm very excited about.
Both as unmemorable.
The Witcher 3 is getting an enhanced PS5 version. Any owner of the title on PlayStation 4 will receive a free upgrade to the enhanced version, and it is due to release sometime in 2021. This free upgrade applies to both the base version of the game and the Game of the Year editions. PlayStation 5 version will have both visual and technical improvements, ray tracing, faster load times across all its content, including all DLC. And if you don't own it on PlayStation 4, you can buy it standalone for the PlayStation 5 on its release. Man, I'm so keen that they're doing this.
I know. You want to know why they're doing it?
Well,
because Cyberpunk's getting delayed. It's not coming out to 2022. They're like, fuck, we need to give them something for 2021. Here's The Witcher again. You love The Witcher, right? Here, feed it. Nom, nom, nom. It's going to become the new Skyrim. And then they're like, here it is. Cyberpunk's delayed. Oh, well, Witcher on the PS5. Like, yeah.
I mean, it is becoming the new Skyrim because it's The Witcher is getting a mobile game based designed similarly to that of Pokemon Go, where you go out and hunt monsters.
I don't know how I feel about that one personally.
I'm like super gonna play it. It's gonna be great.
Look, which is cool. I didn't finish or really play the first one. It just got too dense real quick to me. I was like, no.
Yeah, it's a long game.
This isn't for me. But I know there are many people that this is for.
Yeah, me. they just did it for me, and I'm okay with that.
See, Chris Conway's on my side. Unpopular opinion. I don't like the Witcher games, and I agree. It's maybe it's just not me. Like you said, it felt too high fantasy. It felt too dense. I looked at that map and I wanted to fucking cry.
See, for me, it's all I see is so much content. It bang for your buck wise. The Witcher 3 is a bargain, especially when it goes on sale for $20.
Yeah, I paid $12 for it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Sure.
Going from a game I'm hyped about, let's talk about a game you're hyped about.
Yeah, that's me! Resident Evil! Capcom had mentioned that there'd be an update in August, but unfortunately that did not come to pass. But I guess that could have been the announcement of the series. Capcom has additionally confirmed that the game will be appearing at the Tokyo Game Show. THPS is set to take place at the end of September. But it does look as though Capcom will be holding a duo of live streams over that weekend. The first on Saturday 26th September, which will include a look at Street Fighter V Champion Edition, which we should mention Street Fighter V is also free on PS Plus right now, along with PUBG. We've got to mention that last week, but there you go.
It's in the quick bits for this week.
Yeah, and there we go. And there will be a second, including Resident Evil Village on the 27th. Oh yeah, give me that in my face. I'm fucking keen.
So to throw in some other Resident Evil news that wasn't quite Resident Evil news, earlier this week, a game popped up on Steam for $1.99 called Biohazard Village, with the almost the exact identical logo of what we've seen for Resident Evil The Village. Obviously, Biohazard being the name for Resident Evil over in Japan. Yeah. Everyone kind of went crazy and bought it, and it turned out to be some very subpar third-person zombie game that had just was removed within a day.
Yeah, like
Steam.
Steam shouldn't have been released, man. Steam is garbage. Steam is garbage. But no, give me some sweet Resident Evil action. I want it. I want it.
See, it's times like those where, the curation that Apple puts into their Apple Store makes sense.
It does. Because if you look at that and you look at that title and went, oh, someone's trying to do a sneaky. Nope.
Someone just wants their $2.
Yep. And I bet that person made a good, I don't know, $200,000, $1,000, easy. Moving on.
Hello Games, developer of No Man's Sky, is currently working on a, quote, huge and ambitious new game. According to an interview with Polygon, founder Sean Murray also confirms that this unnamed project is not a sequel to No Man's Sky, but it is still currently in very early development, so we will not be seeing it anytime soon.
God damn it, Sean Murray, shut your face. Do not say huge and ambitious with the games. After the heat, the astronomical heat, pun intended, of No Man's Sky, don't say anything. You should say there is a game, and we are working on it. What should we think? Don't worry about it. Just know there's a game coming. I'm not going to tell you what it is, what to expect, anything. It's just coming. Because all he's going to
he has a tendency to talk too much too soon.
Yeah. Ugh.
The overhype could be real. I hope they don't. I hope that for whenever this does decide to come out and whatever it turns out to be, I really do hope they have a smoother launch than what they did for No Man's Sky.
Yeah, look, I say that in respect for Hello Games because they managed to turn it around. They went and they worked on that game endlessly, and it's kind of the game that they promised now, but. Fucking 4 years later, 5 years later, very, 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 very careful. Sorry, yes, buddy. No, I'm not playing the racing car game right now. I'm not playing skateboarding game either. I'm talking to Max.
But you're going to talk to Max while you also play talking to Max.
He's just
okay,
screw you then,
You
Dad.
want me to stop talking to Max so you can play skateboard games?
Yeah.
I will do that later.
Okay, so you talk to Max first.
Yeah, talk to Max first. Yep, cool. That was I don't know who won that negotiation.
Not me, apparently.
No, it's Max, fuck off. I want to play skateboarding games. That's pretty much what went down. Next up, Mass Effect Remastered. This has been a long ongoing demand /want/need of many. Speaking on the GamesBeat podcast, Jeff Grubb, who's a big old journo, states that EA was targeting an October release for the Remaster trilogy. The last he heard, however, it was meant to be revealed early in October and shipped at the end of the month. He also reiterates, quote, "I know it's real. I've seen more than enough evidence to know that it is real. But it's still 2020 and they haven't announced it yet."
Yeah, I mean, the game...
Pretty much now, I'm just like, until it happens, I don't care.
Well, we'll push on to
But
the
then
quick
saying
bit.
that, I said the same thing about this. I remember clearly saying, we will never see a remake of this.
Well, what I'm hoping
the music
is...
licensing is too much. And what they do, they gave us all the goddamn music. So I'm like, I don't know anything.
Well, what I'm hoping for is that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 sell so well that they give us 3 and 4 and then Underground 1 and 2.
Oh, God, if they give me Underground, oh my God. Oh my dear Lord.
So let's talk some quick bits. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled will no longer be getting any further updates coming from the developer Beanox. It's just a little bit sad, but...
Yeah, well, they can't sneakily put any more
happens.
microtransactions in it.
PlayStation Plus will no longer be required to play Rocket League online when the game goes free to play later this year. Good.
That's handy, because that makes it completely free to play. That's brilliant.
And as Ryan mentioned before, PlayStation Plus games for September are Street Fighter V and PUBG. Now, did they release these games early? Because I swear they normally come out at around the 7th of a month. Or is it just
the first
whenever the first Tuesday is?
Tuesday of the month, yeah.
And that just happened to be on like the second day.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Cool. And then there's a big old picture in there for you.
Oh, it's all dry. Okay, he's got a watering gun now. This could go bad. All right, here we go. The top 10 best-selling games on the PlayStation 4 for the week ending the 30th of August. Number 10, Far Cry New Dawn. I think it's like $8 right now. Far Cry New Dawn's a whole lot of fun. Everyone should go check it out. Number 9, The Last of Us Part 2. Slowly inching its way out of the top 10. Number 8, Assassin's Creed Origins. Number 7, Grand Theft Auto 5. For the first time in a long time, Call of Duty Modern Warfare at number 6, out of the top 5. A Way Out, number 5, which is like 75% off right now, which I almost picked it up because I remember, like, I really enjoyed it. But
EA nearly got me because FIFA is currently 93% off. It's $7, down from $100.
Oh wow, that's some dollars. But EA have got you in other ways because at number 4 it's UFC 4. Number 3, Madden 21. Was that 1, 2? That's two EA games and 2 Ubi games. Oh damn. And then 2 PlayStation exclusives with Ghost of Tsushima at number 2. So it's kind of spiked back up a little bit. But number 1 is still PGA Tour 2K21. I did play a little bit of that this week as well. It's still fun. It's still a lot of fun. Man,
it is.
I'm impressed that Madden is at number 1. You'd think with the season currently being up in the air, like as we head in towards the back end of the year, people will be chomping, you know what I mean, at like some sports related game, but appears not.
Well, I would imagine that NBA 2K21 is probably going to be in the charts next week, being that released yesterday as time of recording. Annualized games, man.
Yeah. Oh, look, if there's one thing that's certain, you're like, everything is cancelled this year. You'll still get your annualized video games. Apparently nothing. Nothing.
Unless you're WWE.
We'll stop. Yeah. Except for WWE. But they'll go at nothing. Just stop.
When's Battlegrounds coming out?
I know. Check your upcoming release date. I'm pretty sure it's in like 2 weeks. All right, there we go, Max.
Are you telling me to do my own segment on this show?
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough that's happened this week. We got all our main topic stuff up the front of the show with all the 3 games we've been playing. So let's get into the section we call Coming to the Players. We tell you what games are coming out this week.
When are we in? September?
We are. It is currently September 5th.
So upcoming games, we have Necromunda Underhive Wars, PS4
like
September 8th. That's, yeah, I have no idea. We have the Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning Remaster Remake thing that's coming out.
Did you ever play the Knights of Amalur on PS3?
Yes, I did play a little bit of it. I never got around to finishing it.
Apparently
That
it's
comes
super
out.
high fantasy, so it's like right up your alley.
That comes out September 8th. And then we have Inertial Drift coming September 11th. And that is it.
Yeah, so Puck in the chat just confirms the Battlegrounds is the 18th of September.
Yeah.
So look, not a whole lot coming out this week, but that's cool. That's good. That means I got more time to play Vader. Means I got more time to play Doraemon, Story of Seasons. You know, get some farming on the PlayStation.
So I know this is a PlayStation podcast, but I just want to get a quick shout out on
The Nintendo tag.
what are your thoughts on the Nintendo digital sales not lasting more than like 6 months?
It's the same scarcity tactic that Nintendo have used for the last 30, 40 years, but they're trying to do it digitally. Like, it's scarce, man. We only have so many ones and zeros. Like, 6 months worth of them, actually. Only 6 months. Like, you know that you can have it in perpetuity digitally. Like, stop trying to fuck people.
Like, it baffles me.
Is that, like, Nintendo continue to demonstrate they have no understanding how the internet works.
Yeah, Nintendo gonna continue to Nintendo.
Don't worry, though. People will be like, oh my god, and they'll pre-order it digitally. It's just pushing for early window purchases. That's it.
Do you reckon they need to make up some money in this quarter or something?
But,
that's why they're...
Who knows? But on top of that, like, Nintendo don't release their digital numbers. So, like, right now, like, you know, Animal Crossing sold X amount of millions of copies, but no one's recorded they don't disclose the digital sales. And you know that game sold incredibly well digitally. So they're like, everyone should buy it digitally. I'm not saying that they're being nefarious, but it's just like, I don't understand the reasoning. It actually makes me quite mad because it just shows this attempt of like pretend ignorance, you know, of how the internet works, or they just try to this pretend scarcity. You can't do that now, unless you want that play and watch. Apparently that shit sold out everywhere. They've already made like 6 of them again.
Yeah. I asked one of my friends because his wife's a big Nintendo fan, and when the Nintendo Lego came out, she pre-ordered a bunch of it and just like hoarded it. Like, is your wife just gonna like scalp these as well? But apparently they're so hard to find anyway. Yeah.
Well, on a side note, because they announced this week the Mario 3D All Stars. So for those, you know, and they're bringing the original All Stars over now, which is cool. Because like I didn't really play 64 because I didn't have one, and I haven't played Sunshine and haven't played Galaxy. So if anything, that'd be a good set for me personally. And it's a great way for me to show my kids. Sunshine
is like one of the greatest Mario games.
Bold statement, and I'm sure a lot of people agree. Padge is really mad though because Galaxy 2's not in there. Apparently Galaxy 2's getting really bummed, really shafted. And no one's giving it the love it allegedly deserves.
Well, maybe they're just going to re-release it by itself for 2 weeks online, and if you don't get it, you miss out.
Yeah, you got like 45 minutes. Bam.
It's available for the next 30 seconds after this trailer ends.
Yeah, it's available for as long as you have this trailer open, so they get views as well.
Anyway, let's wrap things up. I'm assuming we're wrapping things up. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations, please check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All the links in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversation happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live and join the chat just like a bunch of awesome people have today. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you're listening to us on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're on the YouTubes, why not give it a like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I'll endeavor to answer every single one that I can. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculture, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players.
Oh, and a happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Oh yeah,
tomorrow.
fuck Father's Day, everyone.
For all our Aussie listeners.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to anyone that is a father, a father figure, or even those mums that are doing all them daddy stuffs too. Oh, that sounded way sexier than I intended. Happy Father's Day.